All right, so my name's Mike Ailments. Most of you I know. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting you guys. What's your name? Janet and
Dennis.
and Dennis. Great, nice to meet you. We're doing ales and ailments today. So there's ginger ale and root beer back there if you want that. Last week, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we did wine and wellness where we actually had wine because there is some health benefit to drinking red wine. Antioxidants. There's not much redeeming quality in beer, unfortunately, other than the taste of it is pretty good. And A&W root beer, other than the sugar, is not terrible for you. Ginger ale.
Sassafras is good.
Yes. My name's Mike Amundsen. My wife isn't here tonight because she's got a cold, and we are with doTERRA. Wellness advocates, essential oil company, essentially. That's kind of what it is. These classes don't have a whole lot to do with essential oils in particular. We've talked a lot about essential oils in here, but they're mostly just wellness classes. So in the end, I'll show you just a quick, it's like literally 5 minutes on if you want to get essential oils and other natural products into your home through doTERRA. I'll show you how to do that. But the vast majority of this class is just educational. We just talk about different ailments, natural solutions for things. So, about a month ago, we did one on on sleep solutions, and we've done them on essential oils 101 class. So we did just essential oils. Tonight is ailments. So we're going to go through just some just common ailments that we all deal with that there are natural solutions for that we don't usually try most of the time. So we'll go ahead and if there's any questions in between, I like this to be highly interactive. And so any questions that you might have, I'd love to field them if I can. If I can't, I definitely will get you the answer. I'm good with email or texting or anything, or just ask Jim.
Yeah.
We'll give you the answer to the question.
Speed dial.
Karen and I have kind of gone down this path in the last year of switching from more of kind of a hospital type of approach or emergency room approach to our healthcare, where we weren't very proactive with it. We didn't eat very well at all as a family. Most of our shopping was done in the center of the grocery store, meaning all through the processed food aisles. We would eat a lot of that in the frozen food section. We didn't do much grocery shopping on the outer edges of the grocery store. Vegetables, good meats, whole grains, things of that nature. We also went to the doctor a lot. Our medical bills were in excess, and we were a young family, but our medical bills were in excess of probably $10,000 just a couple of years ago. And health insurance isn't great, but still, part of that was being paid for. I had a lot of health problems that I was dealing with, acid reflux being one of them, horrible acid reflux, for about 17 years on prescription medications for it. Headaches, tension headaches, lots of them. Karen had issues, and we would just go to the doctor. They would give us a prescription, we would take it, and we were good. And we felt that's just kind of the cycle we were in. And we were introduced to essential oils, and from a friend of ours, we got lice. The whole family got lice. We were living in Wisconsin. It was a horrible day. It was a terrible day. And we found that we thought that we were staying away from the rest of our family because their family had lice, and we were like, we are not getting lice. Well, we were actually giving everybody else lice. It was just, my daughter's head was infested, my son's head was infested, I had lice, my wife had lice, everybody in the house had lice. And so we had no idea how long, and my wife just hates bugs, and so it was a nightmare. And we were living in Wisconsin at the time, which is kind of in a nice subdivision, and our neighbor came down, and she said, "I heard you guys had lice," and she gave us a she gave us a bottle. She goes, "This is going to help," and gave us a bottle of tea tree oil, which is melaleuca oil. And my wife looked at it and looked at the brand, and it was doTERRA, and this happened to be a doctor's wife, one of the probably the best doctors in southeastern Wisconsin. And so we took notice of that, and we used it, and it helped a lot. And plus, we did the chemicals and all that kind of stuff, and but we took notice of it, and we started to change some of the things. And she said, "Well, why don't you try a few things?" And gave us samples of things. And I had tension headaches, gave me peppermint for that. I tried it. It worked. I thought it was a fluke. I tried it again. I again thought it was a fluke. But it just continued to work for me. So we got a book, and we just started looking things up. And I don't think, other than checkups, and we do still we go to the doctor for checkups. We're not crazy. We do all of that kind of stuff. But we haven't been to the doctor for anything other than checkups in, well, a year and a half now, I think, something like that. So our medical bills have gone down, and we've just changed our lifestyle. So that's kind of who we are. Some of the things I want to go into, like I said, if you have something that you want to talk about, just common problem that you're dealing with, just shout it out and we'll talk about it. First one I think I wanted to talk about was arthritis, because I believe I have a little bit just in my knee, but this is something that 75% of people over the age of 50 deal with, arthritis. So it's a common problem. Arthritis is a joint disorder featuring inflammation, so just inflammation of the joints. And we use, anybody have it? Okay, so a couple people have it. If you don't, you probably will at some point. And you might have it and you don't know it, just joint pain, muscle pain, things like that. Common things that we use. Well, there's a couple of things that most people use to deal with arthritis. Aleve, which is the same thing as naproxen. Naproxen is just the chemical name for it. A lot of that. Celebrex, Humira, those are the two most popular. One is a Pfizer product, the other one is AbbVie or Abbott Labs product. And if you read down here, I put this little down here, this is the back of the box here. And so this is what you need to look out for when taking Humira. Some of the side effects of Humira, which are hepatitis B infection, serious other infections, and I'm just reading the nervous system problems, blood problems, heart failure, immune reactions, or lupus, liver problems, psoriasis, and then there's other ones that, those are the major ones, and there are some minor ones as well. And so, when you're trying to fix a problem, usually you're creating a problem with drugs. Just the way it is. I'm not against Humira. In fact, one of my good friends is a PhD with AbbVie and works on the Humira line. And it helps people in massive ways. But the idea really is to wean off of that as much as you possibly can. Because there are lots of things that you can do so that you're taking either a smaller dose of Humira, or you're taking, or you wean yourself off down to maybe Aleve or something else. But there are lots of things that you can do so you're not having to take as much of that, and you're not risking all of the things that come along with some of these drugs. Some of the most common things that you can do for arthritis, eating healthy. They say that 35% of people who have arthritis stems from their diet. People that eat lots of processed foods and foods that are fried foods are horrible for arthritis. So anybody who eats tons of fried foods or processed foods, usually that is over 50, will experience some sort of joint pain because of it. So eating healthy, which would mean just lots of fruits and vegetables, can reverse the effects of arthritis. whole grains and foods rich in omega-3s and 9s. And you have to, the omega-6s can have an adverse effect for arthritis, but in large doses. So they say don't take more than you need of omega-6, but take omega-3s and omega-9s. So that's just your fishes and fish oil. Exercise. If you're not exercising and you have arthritis, it's a good thing just to start exercising because you can reduce your the pain. They say over a 2-month process of just walking or exercising or doing yoga or stretching by 35%, by just doing that on a daily basis, and then eating healthy. So if you take just those 2 things and put them together and do them, a lot of people could probably be off of the medications that they're on, either Enbrel, Celebrex, or Humira, just by doing those 2 things. Some natural things that you can do. Turmeric is great. Turmeric is a root. You can find it in any health food store that acts as a natural anti-inflammatory. Kind of a natural naproxen almost. So turmeric is great. Frankincense has an ingredient called betswalla in it, which is also an anti-inflammatory, and you can put that directly on wherever you have joint pain or any pain at all. Some people just put it on, like I'll use it for headaches, tension headaches, because it acts as an anti-inflammatory. I was a ibuprofen addict. I took about 12 pills probably a week for tension headaches. I get them quite often, and probably was causing some of my stomach problems as well. But I haven't taken ibuprofen in a year, over a year. So the betswalla oil, frankincense oil, acts as a natural anti-inflammatory. Deep Blue has blue tansy in it, as well as, which is another oil that's a blend oil, has blue tansy, wintergreen, and some other oils in it that act as an anti-inflammatory. Also, it cools down, which will take the pain receptors. Anything cool on your skin, like anything that you're going to use, like a icy hot or Bengay, things like that, they have a synthesized version of wintergreen oil, and that's basically all it is. And so Deep Blue is going to be the natural form of that.
So you just apply that topically?
Mm-hmm. So I use like a carrier oil of like a fractionated coconut oil, or jojoba oil.
What kind of ratio?
With Deep Blue, I use about 7 to 10 drops. I would use 7 to 10 drops of fractionated coconut oil to 1 drop of Deep Blue.
Oh, wow.
Or wintergreen, or peppermint, or anything like that that's going to get that cooling
Are
effect.
those all in Deep Blue?
Deep Blue has more than that. So Deep Blue has blue tansy, it has wintergreen, it has...
Well, you don't have to tell, but
I'll look at after
if you
and
use
remember.
the Deep Blue, you don't have to necessarily use the peppermint and
No.
this and the this and the this.
Right.
So we're looking
Just
1
one.
drop of
Yep.
Deep Blue.
And that just helps it spread, really. It's not going to dilute it or, it's going to have the same effect, basically. It just allows it to spread a little easier.
Jim, I wish he was in here because I think it was either last night or this morning. I think it was this morning. He got his foot, my oxygen tube lassoed his foot. And he fell and he jammed his index finger way back under.
Oh.
He said, I think I dislocated it. Because he had to pop it back up.
Oh, yeah.
And he's used Deep Blue a couple times today. And a while ago he was doing this, and I thought he was pointing at Chloe. But he was going, I can move my finger. I can move my finger. And all he had used today
That's Mike.
Hi,
was
how are
being
you?
wood.
Hi, Sylvia, and that thing, and this is, everybody.
We're just talking about arthritis. We're on the first ailment, so you didn't miss much at all.
So, testimony
We
about
were
your
just talking
finger
about some
today.
natural
Was it today you
ways
felt?
to
Yeah.
deal with joint pain and arthritis, things of that nature. Mainly, you can almost get rid of 50% of the symptoms that come along with arthritis and joint pain by just eating right and exercising, essentially, because most people don't do that right. Turmeric is great. We just went over that as a
Turmeric.
anti-inflammatory,
Does
natural
it-
anti-inflammatory.
Does it count? For instance, we had fried chicken for supper, but I put turmeric on it.
That is,
Is that one of
That's
those?
healthy chicken.
Is that?
That's what I call healthy chicken. That's what I call.
I really did.
actually, it is good. It's good to season your food with this stuff.
Yeah, it is, absolutely it is.
Lemongrass that we have, you
Yeah.
can use it as a season.
And then fry it.
Not.
You know, here's the thing.
In the oven.
I would try doing something other than frying the food,
Yeah.
but certainly it's good for you to have those herbs on your food. Frying them might take away the effect of the
It might.
turmeric
Peanut oil.
from an anti-inflammatory standpoint, but probably makes it taste wonderful, especially fried in that peanut oil or whatever you're frying it in.
Something, we have done a lot of looking in the last couple of weeks. Of course, calling back and forth, you've heard from Jim. But one thing that I have found that, for instance, doTERRA and that other company, and the ones that you go, well, why not this, or why not just go down here and get it off the shelf or whatever, is the quality of the blends. You don't find the blends in the array that you do with doTERRA and that other company.
Oh, Young Living or something like that. Yeah, I'm good with saying their names. I'm good with a lot of different outcomes. Why did I choose doTERRA? There's a lot of reasons that we chose to do doTERRA, and just I just like the company. I liked the quality. I liked the people. I liked the things that we get to do. I like small business, and so we're a small business, and it would cost us very little to get in, or really $35. I think it will cost us our investment in it, and so. And I just like the education that they give. And so there's lots of different reasons that I like it. And the quality is good. But it doesn't mean that there isn't other good companies out there making good stuff. It's just that's who we chose. And that's who... And so... and I'll sing it from the hilltops because they've done wonderful things for, with our family, within our family, and things that it's done for us, just from a health standpoint. But that, I don't know if that answers the question or not.
Yeah,
but
well,
it's
it really wasn't. It was just an
Yeah.
observation that
Yeah.
so many of them don't offer the blends.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know,
And
for
I like the blends that they
specific
offer. Yeah.
Conditions that
Yeah.
you might have.
Yeah, and then getting back to kind of where we were at, the eating healthy today, in today's day and age, that we don't get our vitamins and supplements that we need in our food. We don't get the minerals and vitamins in any food that we eat. So you should be taking vitamins and supplements. You should be taking them. You should be taking whole food vitamins, supplements, and good vitamins and supplements. Whether they come from doTERRA or they come from GNC or whatever it is, a good vitamin is going to cost you money. And so just get good ones. That's all. And that will help you as well with your arthritis.
Go ahead, Lana.
Wasn't that what helped Karen, taking the vitamins?
Yeah, so the vitamins and supplements, that she was malnourished, and so she had my wife had insomnia, and suffered from it for 10, 12 years, something like that, and until she got on, and she was on, she finally got on like a year ago, well, less than a year, about 8 months ago, she finally got on an antidepressant and sedative so that she could fall asleep at night because it was affecting every bit of her life. And so and our life, for that matter. So she got on them, and then we decided, you know what, maybe you need to get on some good vitamins. That's what the doctor said. You need to, if you're not on vitamins, get on good vitamins. And so we tried the doTERRA vitamins, and she weaned herself off of the antidepressant within 2 weeks, and she hasn't been on an antidepressant since then. And so she just takes whole food vitamins every day. So she takes, and you got to take enough of them. That's just the way it is. My brother's a pharmacist, and he'll tell you one of the biggest scams out there in the industry is vitamins. A one-a-day vitamin is not going to do anything for you. That's the biggest joke that the pharmacist will tell you, is that if you're taking a one-a-day, you might as well not take it at all, because it's not doing anything for you. There's not enough vitamins in them, and it's not being processed in your system well enough. So you have to take enough, and you have to take good ones. So
Water soluble?
water soluble and whole food. And you need to take omegas too, your omega 3, 6, and 9s. Make sure you get them all in one pill, usually. If you don't get them all in one pill, make sure you get enough 2 pills that you're taking that give you the 3, 6, and 9. And then antioxidants, making sure you're, but all of those are going to help with arthritis as well.
So is it Plex or Plex-VM2?
The micropex is the vitamins.
Oh, Michael.
That's the vitamins and minerals. The EO is your omegas 3, 6, and 9s, and your alpha is your antioxidants. So if you go to get vitamins, just make sure you get good ones, and they will help as long as they're good ones. Many of us suffer from seasonal allergies, exposure to airborne substance, pollens, things like that appear during certain times of the year. Not usually now, but a little too cold for now. But as soon as springtime rolls around, you're going to be, those will be flying off the shelf. Zyrtec, Claritin, allergies, rhinocort, all basic antihistamines, which is not terrible side effects. The histamines, not short-term side effects. They don't know what all the long-term side effects are of all of these antihistamine drugs that are out there. I can't take them because they make me feel like garbage most of the time. I get drowsy, which is a very common side effect of any antihistamine.
Even the non-drowsy.
Non-drowsy is going to make you usually dries you out horribly, and it's going to make you usually drowsy. Even the non-drowsy ones make me drowsy, and they just basically dry you out. That's the job of an antihistamine, and that's what's normally done. Most people will take those for seasonal allergies. What are some things that can be done? Local honey. If you're eating honey, make sure you get it locally if you have seasonal allergies, because those bees are pollinating, right? And they're getting them from all the local, if it's local and you're eating the honey, it's acting almost like a vaccine for you, because you're getting all of the pollen, you're getting all of those things in the local honey that you're eating. And so if you have seasonal allergies, you should be eating local honey, which is better than refined sugar anyway. So don't eat refined sugar, use local honey and things to sweeten things. Butterbur is a natural antihistamine. So if you go on WebMD, or you go, there's been tons of studies at the University of Wisconsin and in Johns Hopkins that works as a natural antihistamine. And you can find that at any local, you should be able to find butterbur extract, or I've never seen a butterbur essential oil out there, but you can find it at like a health food store.
Is it more like a tea?
I think they do make it in a tea as well, but they also do...
A spread?
No, they won't do spread. It's like the flour, like it'll be like a powder almost that you could make into a tea. Chamomile tea is really good for seasonal threats. Don't go out. I always put the time on there. Don't go out during the day. I see. Wait till 5 o'clock when everything is kind of settled down and it's not
Stay in
hot.
a bubble room.
Yep. Anybody ever seen any of these things? These neti pots?
Yes.
Ever used them before? They're great to clear your sinuses out. I use them all the time. I had an accident when I was about 28 years old where I crushed my sinuses. And my sinuses there's lots of scar tissue in my sinuses, and so I get sinus infections very easily if I get a cold.
And you put eucalyptus?
I use eucalyptus
Yeah.
often in showers, things like that. My wife just put it in our shower, which is great because I'll put it on my hands and just opens the airways up. Eucalyptus is great for that. Don't put eucalyptus in a neti pot. Never put essential oils up your nose. Try not to do that.
Can you smell them?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
that sounds crazy. We
Just
pass
don't
them
want to put
around
them
and
in
smell
any.
them. What if you use those, the inhalers that's made
Mhm.
to put the oil in the little cotton thing that's inside?
Yeah, they do those in hospitals all the time.
Yeah.
For nausea. So they use hospitals all over the country. They've been using essential oils in those little vaporizer things or
Inhaler?
inhalers for nausea for years. And it's pretty common because peppermint and anise and things like that will calm your stomach down and have counter effect any nausea that you might have. And so those are they use them often. That's not even a controversial thing in Western medicine, using that type of approach. These three, lemon, lavender, and peppermint, are kind of the antihistamine essential oils. I put them in capsules. We put them in capsules. So the lavender and the lemon act as your antihistamine, and the peppermint opens your airways up. So putting them in one gel cap or one capsule and taking them once or twice a day during allergy season will help out tremendously.
How much do you put in a capsule?
1 to 2 drops
Of each.
per each.
That's pretty hard to do.
Putting them in there.
Yeah.
You know what you can do is you get these little droppers.
Yeah.
They're great, and you just put the little drop. But the capsule is small, I know.
Yeah.
So doTERRA makes a gel cap. It's called Tri-Ease. It just has lemon, lavender, and peppermint already in it. You can
Oh.
take 'em.
It's called what?
you
And
have-
it's called
It's
what?
called Tri-Ease. I'm cheap, so I just use the oil.
I'm busy.
Make sure you have an air purifier. Those are great. But those are some great ways to combat seasonal allergies, unless you have them just horribly bad and you have to
My
take
husband
Claritin.
has had injections every 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, and they also say,
That's a steroid.
yeah, changing your diet usually helps a lot. Getting rid of refined sugar completely in your diet helps, which most people don't want to do. But they'll find that if you get rid of refined sugar, because of what sugar does in your stomach, creates yeast. Yeast becomes a problem. It has all kinds of autoimmune effects on the body, and that's not even controversial anymore. I mean, everyone is. All hospitals are going to tell you got to get rid of refined sugar in your diet if you really want to. 80% of your immune system and your immune function resides in your gut and in your stomach, and that's not controversial anymore. I mean, everyone knows that. And so taking care of that usually fixes most of your problems.
I have a question, but it's probably for Ed. Is there anybody, is there a beekeeper in Salida?
There are.
Because the
A
only,
wonderful bee store right across from Safeway. They
in
have-
Salida,
Yeah.
because the only thing I can find here comes from the
She's got the
over
hives.
around,
It's her grandfather's
Del Norte.
old farm, and she came back and started it up, and she has the bee, everything there. So just stop in that store, she'll tell you about it all. It's awesome. It's great. It's called
Where is
Bee
this
Hive.
called? What's it?
It's right across from Safeway in Salida.
Oh,
It's called a bee hive or something. It's a beautiful store, and it's great. Just stop by there. She'll
Okay.
tell you.
because we get, we've been getting the honey from down here at Lettuce Head, but it's from over on the western slope somewhere, I forgot.
This is from Salida.
Salida?
What's considered local?
What distance?
Oh, I would say anywhere within 20 to 50-mile radius
Yeah.
is going to be local for you.
It usually has to do with the flowers and trees and pollen in a particular area, and they say the western slope's real similar to here.
Yeah, I would
So
say
they
anywhere in the
sell
high
it.
country probably is going to be all the same. You're going to deal with the same pollens and the same things. And I don't know. Front Range is probably going to be a little bit different than here from a climate standpoint. So you probably, and I'm guessing right now, but that's just.
Hers is definitely from here.
Okay.
But it's certainly going to help. And it's going to act as that kind of that vaccine for you almost for seasonal allergies.
And now's the time to start taking it.
Yep. Gut issues, and I had talked a little bit about this before, but so these are I was on that for 17 years. Well, not that, but this I was on for a while before it was over the counter, which was only like 3 years ago. It went over the counter, I think. Took on that, and Protonics was on. I was on as of late. I mean, the last 2 years, I think, a year and a half. I think I was on Protonics, which was really expensive. But they're just pulp inhibitors, so it just reduces the amount of acid that's pumped into your stomach, which then, so you don't have heartburn and you don't have acid reflux and things of that nature. The problem is, these are all of the side effects that come along with that. Protonics, this is why I had to get off of it. Protonics may develop kidney problems. And I have genetic kidney issues already, and my kidneys were getting worse while I was taking pulp inhibitors. So I had to do something anyway, and so I did lots of things that probably got me off of all medication for my stomach. So in June I stopped taking Protonics. I haven't taken anything for my stomach at all since that point, other than I took those gel caps of anise and peppermint in little capsules that I would take once at night and once in the morning. That helped for about a month and a half. Now I'm not taking any of them since I changed my diet and all kinds of stuff. Diet is the big thing. I'm trying to think who it was that said that the best medicine is at the end of your fork, essentially. That's the best prescription, especially for anything that has to do with your stomach. I like the food pyramid because it doesn't have a whole lot of refined grains in it. Whole grains are good. You can have those in your diet. But foods rich in like avocado oil and those types of fats are good for you. Lots of fruits and vegetables. And like I said, try to stay away from anything refined sugars. 80%, like I said earlier, 80% of your immune system function is in your gut. And so if your gut is not healthy, you should have 80% good bacteria in your gut, 20% bad. There are lots of things that cause that to be reversed. The average American has about 75% bad bacteria in their gut and about 25% good bacteria in their gut, which now they've linked to all kinds of problems. Obesity, which leads to all kinds of issues. Skin disorders, psoriasis, eczema. Most of your yeast problems, so fungal infections, most of them come from an overactive yeast population in your stomach, so bad bacteria in your stomach. So if you have toenail fungus, or you have athlete's foot, things of that nature that continue to be a problem, most of the time have to do with the presence of bad bacteria in your gut. And so how do you change that? That's the question. 1, a good diet. 2, probiotics and prebiotics you should be taking. And probiotics have to be good probiotics. They should be a combination of a prebiotic and a probiotic, and the delivery system for those probiotics, like yogurt. They always say, "Oh, eat yogurt to get your probiotics." The problem is that you have to eat like 50 quarts of Greek yogurt to get a good amount of probiotics into your gut, because once you eat the yogurt, those good bacteria that are in that Greek yogurt get eaten up by the stomach acid. And so there's no reason to eat Greek yogurt for your probiotics. So the delivery system for probiotics is important. So you should look at, if you're taking probiotics, what's the capsule look like? And it should say on your probiotic, you look at it and it should say, either it's a timed release, and it is like a anti-stomach acid. It'll say something like that on the actual bottle, or it should be a pill within a pill. So it should have, a lot of probiotics, you look at them and there'll be a pill inside of a pill, so that the probiotic actually gets down through the stomach and into the intestines. Otherwise, it's not worth taking the probiotic, because it'll just be eaten up by the
It'll dissolve in your stomach.
It'll dissolve, and the probiotic and the good bacteria will be gone, and it won't get to the place that you need to get. So those are the things that you need when you're looking at it. Sauerkraut, fantastic for you. Tons of probiotics, tons of good bacteria in sauerkraut. Kimchi, kombucha, all of those things that, funny thing is, all of those things that Eastern medicine has been saying for years, and they're all really good for you and good for your stomach, and that'll reverse the 80 to 20 ratio for you. And then exercise, yoga, stretching, things of that nature are all going to help. And sleep. Common cold and flu season. We're kind of in that flu season right now. Upper respiratory problem. And this is I thought this was interesting. The head of a pin can hold 500 million rhinoviruses. One sneeze can generate aerosol of enough cold viruses to infect thousands of people. And we wonder why everyone gets a cold when someone gets a cold. We see someone with a cold and then everybody has a cold. Well, that's the reason, is that it's extremely, what's the word I'm thinking of? Totally blank. Contagious. That's it. Extremely contagious. And the funny thing is that when people have when people have a cold, they often think that they have the flu, but the influenza virus is pretty rare. Like, most of the time when someone has the flu, they really don't have the flu, they just have the rhinovirus that is maybe a severe case of it. But most people don't have influenza, don't get it. It's not as prevalent as you might think that it is. That's because of the flu vaccine. I'm not saying the flu vaccine is bad or good. I've never had a flu vaccine. I think it's great for elderly and young to get it, but it is fairly ineffective most years. what's normally done, some of the things we've seen. I always thought this was funny. Tamiflu, which is, you see is quite often on TV for commercials. It's on all the time. You ever seen that commercial where the guy is like, the guy is like 20 feet tall, you know,
In
he's
this
sitting
little
on this
bitty
small
house.
toilet, and you know, he's a little bit, in a tiny house. Well, I think the side effects are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, nightmares, sleeping problems, stomach cramps, and headaches. Like, those are some of the side effects of Tamiflu that you're trying, like, those are the things you're trying to get rid of, but that's the side effect of Tamiflu. So I think that's interesting. Some of the things that are done, antibiotics are often given in cold cases. People go in for a cold or they have a flu or something and they give them an antibiotic. And they wonder why antibiotics are becoming useless. Mucinex, ibuprofen, I used ibuprofen all the time. Still good. Ibuprofen, Tylenol, still good for fever reduction. Never say not to take them. Although having a fever is not a terrible thing unless it gets too high. Having a fever just means that your body is doing what it needs to do to fight off the virus. So if you're at 99, don't take ibuprofen to get yourself back down to, or Tylenol, get yourself back down to normal, let it run its course. Some things that can be done that I didn't have on here: drink lots of fluids. When they tell you to drink lots of fluid, it's because you're losing, because you're sweating a lot, you're losing a lot of, don't become dehydrated. That can compromise your immune system. So drinking lots of water, sleeping. Garlic is great. So taking garlic pills or garlic or oregano essential oil is great for that. I don't know if anybody's seen the Purdue commercial, the new
The chickens?
Purdue chickens. They tell you they don't use antibiotics anymore in their chickens. They're using oregano in their feed because oregano oil is known to not kill any viruses, but what it does, and this is what clove oil does, as well as eucalyptus oil, cinnamon bark oil. So they don't, and that's all in this On Guard protective blend and oregano. What it does is the studies have shown that it doesn't kill the virus, but what it'll do is it weakens the virus, so when it replicates, the cell replicates, it replicates a weaker cell, so that your T cells that fight a virus have a much better chance of defeating that virus when it's a weaker virus cell. And so that's what happens when you take oregano or you take garlic and some of this protective blend. And so it's not actually killing the cell, because it's not going, there's nothing out there that's going to kill a virus cell. But what it can do is it can weaken that cell wall, it can weaken the cell itself, so when it does replicate, it's replicating a weaker virus cell. So that your body has a better ability to defeat it.
Is there oregano in On Guard, or are you saying
Mhm.
you should take the two together, or?
No, there is no oregano in On Guard. And so we always take the two together. So we'll take On Guard and we'll put it in. I took it this week lots of times when I was dealing with this cold. So I put On Guard in a veggie cap. I took oregano and lemon and melaleuca. Took them twice or 3 times a day. My cold has lasted 3 days and I'm almost done. So, but again, what it does, like all these things, it just weakens the cell. Doing some exercising while you have, if you have a cold or if you have a minor cold, don't stop doing everything. Go out and walk, get fresh air, things like that help. Ginger tea is amazing for any cold and flu season. One, the warmth is good, feels good. And I always just put sugar up there because 80% of your immune system is in your gut. If you're eating lots of sugar and you're eating lots of bad food for you, your gut doesn't have the ability to produce good T cells and doesn't have the ability to work at its maximum capacity. So just think of it that way. So if you had like a prize fighter, you know, a prize fighter is not going to eat all sugar, you know, the months leading up to his fight. He's eating lean meats, he's eating vegetables and fruits and all of those types of things because that's what's going to help him in fighting off his opponent. The same thing happens in your body. If all you're feeding your body is junk and crap and processed foods and all that kind of stuff, your body's going to have a very hard time fighting any virus that comes along. So, yeah. Oh, I'm right on time. Look at that. Any other questions that you might have? Any other ailments, things that might be able to help with?
Circulation. It's like,
Like blood flow, things of that nature.
yeah.
So there's a oil called petitgrain.
Petitgrain.
Petitgrain that helps with circulation and also helps with hypertension. So petitgrain, that's used. It's a fairly new oil for doTERRA anyway. Harvested in South America,
Is it
in
a
Bolivia, I think.
combination of things or just
No, petitgrain plant. We've used that for years.
What
Yeah.
about insomnia? I heard part of what you were saying about your wife.
Yeah, so my wife's insomnia had to do with malnutrition, and that's what cured her. And she can't be off vitamins. If she's off vitamins, even on a good diet, like if she's off vitamins, she'll immediately go into being up in the middle of the night. So she blamed it on, well, after I was pregnant and had babies, I have to get up and go to the bathroom every night and all that kind of stuff. And then she couldn't fall back asleep, and so she thought that was normal. And she had a TV in the room. We had a TV in the room, and she had to watch like Frasier. That was her show. She'll tell you that. I've watched every single episode of Frasier about 6 or 7 times. Every season. And there's probably 8 seasons, and I don't know how many episodes were in there, but we watched it, and she would turn it on, and his voice or something like that, after about 45 minutes, she was able to fall asleep to an hour. And she just thought it was kind of normal, and she couldn't do it. But after a while, it started, when life anxieties and life got a little difficult, that turned into depression, that turned into all sorts of things. So sleeping obviously isn't a big deal. So it was malnutrition for her.
I think lavender in a diffuser helps too in your room.
So we did lavender. Lavender helped a lot for her, not as much as vetiver, which is a grass out of Haiti. And that is known for its properties for sleeping. So we would do vetiver and Karen, Chloe, do you know what we put in there? No, probably not.
Serenity?
There's a Serenity blend that has vetiver in it. Sometimes vetiver gives you vivid dreams. So that's one of the downsides. Some people can't, because they get such vivid dreams, they get freaked out.
You think it's because they go into such deep sleep, or is it nightmarish?
I don't know. Some people just have very vivid dreams.
I do.
There was Pam Kelly, I think, who she said she couldn't do vetiver because she had very, very vivid dreams. And so, but she likes lavender. So it's just kind of a trial and error. So we like the Serenity blend that doTERRA has, which has vetiver in it, has lavender in it, has Roman chamomile in it.
With eliminating sugar in too, I think, has a lot to do.
Yeah.
No, the big book.
But those are all things that we do. We diffuse every night right by our bedside. That's helped a lot. But the major thing was
In the last few weeks, months, even before we got hooked up with doTERRA, I had started using a lavender lotion, arms, neck, take a bath in lavender before I go to bed, lavender on my feet,
The
Put my
baby
s-
kind is the
put
best.
socks on, and lavender, on my pillow. And one day last week, I sprayed the liniment for my knee on my pillow. But I normally put lavender on my pillow. Not good if you put the other stuff on your pillow. But anyway, I put myself in a lavender bubble before I go to bed. Something's working. I sleep.
Yeah, and so that's really kind of what's helped us. So Roman chamomile is great. Vetiver, lavender. Sometimes it's a combination. It's kind of trial and error with kind of how your body reacts to it. I don't have sleeping problems, so I don't really know. I can fall asleep within like 30 seconds with my head being on a pillow.
I bet your wife is really
She
happy.
hates that. She hates it. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I don't struggle with. But she did, and so those are some of the things that
Are there,
helped us.
okay. Are there any of these essential oils that shouldn't be taken if you're pregnant or breastfeeding? What do they say?
Yes, there are. In fact, I can get you, if I get your email address, I can send you all that information on.
Okay.
I can send you a link on pregnancy and essential oils.
Okay.
And there's, in fact, there was just a video done on it. I'm trying to remember what it was. On Live Naturally. That, in fact, it was a whole class on pregnancy and essential oils. So it was like a hour class on it. And safety of it and things like that. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, this is where I spend just a tiny bit of time. So like, why did I choose doTERRA? Why did we choose doTERRA for our essential oil? My first thing right here was because there are a lot of really good oil companies out there. I'm not gonna say there aren't. I think doTERRA has some of the best out on the market right now. If you go to, there's a website called Source to You. If you look on every single bottle of doTERRA, you can take the code on doTERRA, and it'll tell you where it was tested, what third-party laboratories it was tested in, all the test results for every single bottle of oil that's out there, and it's all made available to you on sourcetoyou.com. So I'm convinced of their safety, free of chemicals, all sorts of stuff. This was the big thing for me, was their co-impact sourcing. Was they harvest everywhere around they don't have like 3 or 4 farms that they harvest everything at. They harvest where it grows indigenously, so over 35 countries. Most of them are third world countries, and so they really pour back into it. Forbes did a huge story on co-impact sourcing, which is above and beyond what fair trade is. So you always see the fair trade logo on things that you're paying fair trade wages for to third world organizations. Well, Forbes looked at it and said they go way beyond. doTERRA goes way beyond fair trade. So they did a big story on what doTERRA does in building hospitals and educational facilities and schools for harvesting. How do you harvest plants correctly? And so that made a huge impact on us. I love small business, and my wife and I wanted to be in a small business together, and so this is what we do, and so this is how we're paid. And so I understand sometimes people, they look at it and say, oh, it's more expensive than I can get it down the street or here or there or whatever it is. I said, yeah, we're not the Walmart of essential oils, or never will be. But I look at it as I'm a small business and I'm helping other small business people. And so that's why we chose doTERRA. Love the company. doTERRA works just like a Sam's Club membership or a Costco membership. You pay $35 and you buy it wholesale all year long. Or you can buy an enrollment kit, and you get your wholesale membership paid for through that enrollment kit. And they have all kinds of enrollment kits for all different budgets and all different needs. So that is my 5 minute spiel on doTERRA, and I'm done with it. But if you have any questions, let me know. I can talk to you about that. If you have any other questions on anything else, thanks for coming though. Oh, I got it. Wait, I have to pick up. Don't go yet. I have a giveaway, and I got to give you guys your tickets.
That's all right.
Huh?
They don't-
We don't need them? All right.
I heard that. Took me a while to get up here.
I'm giving away, I don't know, let me look. See what I'm giving away. Here you go.
All right.
Let's see, what am I giving away today? Oh, I'm giving a Digest Zen roller ball. And so this is the digestive blend. And I like this, I use this all the, like if I have like a nausea or stomach problems or anything like that, so I'll take the roller ball, I just rub it right on my stomach. And I don't know, call me crazy, but I don't puke when that happens when I do that. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. The winner is 9794703.
Let's see.
Yay! All right, here you go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can I ask?
You can ask.
Nope.
I can ask, but that might be as far as we go with it.
Do I?
That's in a roller ball.
Mhm.